There are two kinds of people that I have seen in my life. They have an absolute Indian accent, but they fake a Firangi accent. And finally, they make a look like a joker out of themselves and their accent. But
Okay.
yours is a absolutely genuine touch of not actually Indian, but leaning more towards, kind of a British accent or a US accent, whichever your choice, you pick it up. Probably you're a person who have been genuinely trying to get this accent, or is this something that has naturally come to you because of the kind of education that you have had and the kind of good schools that you have gone to? What is the reason? What is the result of this? I mean, how did you get this? Hello.
Hi. How are you doing today?
Hi. Hi, Ravish. I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Let me introduce myself, Ravish. I'm speaking from Bangalore. You know my name, Ajay. Ajay Rao to be precise, and I'm from Bangalore. Is there anything else that you would want to know?
Great. Perhaps we'll get to know each other while we start our communication.
Wow,
Perhaps
that's
a
a
short
good start.
conversation.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a pretty good start that you're given to this conversation already. I'm not. This is the first time I'm. This is the first time I'm actually speaking to a person who looks like equal in terms of. I don't know whether it's equal. I might be lesser than you in terms of
No,
capabilities, but definitely your English is better than.
no,
At
no, sir,
least
no,
the
sir.
initial.
You're far better than me. That's the reason I'm here. To have word with professionals like you and learn so many other things which I don't know.
Okay. Okay, fine, fine. Whatever I can, I'll spill it out in front of you. So, Ravish, just give me a 10-second introduction of yourself as well, please.
Sure. So as you know, my name is Kumar Ravish,
Yeah.
and I have been working for an organization for like 10, 11 years now.
Yeah.
And I am on Clapingo uh, because to improve my communication, I thought to have word with professionals like you, and
Yeah.
let's learn something which I don't know,
Okay.
and yeah, that's the reason I'm here.
Wow, wonderful. That's really, really good. So, at least you're one person with whom I don't have to really break my head on what to talk about. The kind of, I think the topic of the day, I don't have to check that because it's going to be a one-to-one conversation between two people.
Yes.
Okay. How has your experience been? At least, are you getting what you set out to find out on Clapingo? I mean, are you getting anything in return? Is it profitable?
It is, of course. Like I have spoken to so many people from Clapingo, and they're really great at communication, and they
Yes.
understand the language very well, I would say.
Okay.
And as compared to many others, who do not understand the nuances and the technical aspects of it, the grammar and the sentence construction and so many other things, their verbal communication, their body language and everything. So I found them really interesting, and so many things I found intriguing, I would say. And I learned so many things. I'm still trying to learn so many other things as well. So far so good. So far great experience.
Wonderful. Absolutely. You have a very to your accent. I'm talking particularly about your accent. You have that Midas touch of uh, not particularly Indian accent. You have a kind of a touch of not so Indian accent as well. Maybe a Firangi accent, I would say. And so there are two kinds of people that I have seen in my life. They have an absolute Indian accent, but they fake a Firangi accent. And finally, they make a look like a joker out of themselves and their accent. But
Okay.
yours is a absolutely genuine touch of not actually Indian, but leaning more towards, kind of a British accent or a US accent, whichever your choice, you pick it up. Probably you're a person who have been genuinely trying to get this accent, or is this something that has naturally come to you because of the kind of education that you have had and the kind of good schools that you have gone to? What is the reason? What is the result of this? I mean, how did you get this?
Okay. So let me tell you, perhaps it'll be easier for you to understand that I have been working for an organization, as I said, like for last 10, 11 years, and
Yeah.
my entire experience is with US based organization. So
Uh-huh.
I talk to the people, they're all from US itself, citizens
Yes.
and green card holders and many others. So that's the
Wow.
reason, that, the language has got a little imbibed.
Yeah.
And it's not that I am trying to inculcate them, 100%, but that's something that has gone naturally, that has grown with the conversation, right? So
Yes.
I've been talking to the people, to the Americans, and from where it got a little bit of, you can say, the inclination, which is kind of American accent. So yeah,
Yes, yes, yes. Is it more of UK or more of America? The
it's
kind of
more of
customers that
US.
it's more of US. Okay, fine. I,
You
I
may say
can I
so,
can kind of,
but
yeah,
I
I
still find myself not that great when that comes to their accent.
yeah.
But yes, I mean, that's something which comes naturally when you talk to when your entire conversation happens
Yes.
with the US people, are less with Indians. So that's something which comes naturally. So that's something
Absolutely.
which is there in my case as well, I suppose.
Now, the quality of your accent only tells me one thing, and that is the amount of communication that you end up having with any American clients. Probably, and I must say it's a lot. It's a lot. Probably you end up speaking to them for hours together, and probably that is exactly where you pick up these nuances. How to, where to put the pressure, where not to put the pressure, and where to end the word and all that stuff. So that's nice.
That's the really interesting part of this conversation, because when you get to talk to the people like you and the professionals, they easily gaze and understand where you are going wrong, and what part of stress that you are putting your syllable stress, whatever it is called you know
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I must say this. I have been speaking to US clients. I mean, during my working days. Now I don't work. I freelance nowadays. Now, from the past
Mhm.
3 years, I've been freelancing, and I have been exposed to some amount of clients, and basically most of them US hospitals, but not to the extent that you are doing at the present time. Uh, so I probably extended conversations with some people over the phone. You automatically, now that's the magic of language. When you become what kind of people you are generally involved with, be it habits, be it the personality, and most importantly, be it the language as well. So good for you. But I am sure language has its way of stopping at some point in time, the influence. Even if I look at people like Sundar Pichai or Nadella, who are heading Google and all those companies, when I listen to them speak, now they are US citizens. They are exposed to these US accents all the time. They only speak and communicate with these kind of people. But still, if you look at it, there is only a certain level until which they can become the US accented guys. They still have the touch of Indianness. You still, if you listen to them, if
Exactly.
you close your eyes and listen to them, you can very easily tell that they're still the Desi guys who are trying to speak English or something. That's what
Right,
I
right.
feel.
Correct.
So
I mean, that
I think,
little accent is there, for
yeah,
sure. Yes.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, fine. Very interesting to talk to you. In fact, I'm already kind of bombarded with kind of questions in my head that I need to put in front of you. In fact, this is one conversations where I'm going to ask you questions and probably you're going to answer me. But what do you do at your job? Is there something specially? What makes you talk to the US clients so much?
So actually, we are into US staffing business. So we hire
Okay.
technical guys, technical people from US citizens and green card holders only. So yeah, and we work for US clients altogether.
Okay. Do you get to travel as well?
No, no, I have personally, if I talk about myself, I haven't got any opportunity so far. But yes, people from our company, I mean, they get an opportunity if you are
Okay.
on that level. They yes, they get an opportunity to be on site and then come back. So back
Okay.
and forth
Fine.
that happens.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions. Just try to solve this. I have never been into recruitment. During my working days, I was most of the time into training. So I come into picture after you finish your work. That's what I mean to tell. Okay.
Okay.
So you push the people, I take them and I train them. That was my kind of profile that I used to work in.
Okay.
Now, generally, people uh, believe in the people like you who take people on board. Okay. Now, there are a couple of tests that you perform, probably psychometric and whatnot. Okay. And tell me instances wherein you have you had great faith in a person, the person's capabilities, you hired him or her, and after onboarded, you get feedback from the other departments that this is a dud. We have made a mistake. We should not have gotten this guy into the system. Now, what do you do under these kind of circumstances? And does it give you any kind of learning as to how you can strengthen your mechanism of headhunting? Do you make your systems better after such unpleasant experiences of hiring a wrong person?
I remember, one of the incidents that happened with me when I
Mhm.
started my career. I was on second year of my, entire experience I had. So I talked to that guy. He was a network engineer, and when I was doing, you know, uh, hiring for a domestic client itself.
Okay.
So I happened to speak with that candidate, and that guy was okay during the initial conversation. And
Mhm.
if I talk about the technical skills and everything, I
Mhm.
also find him really great
Mhm.
on paper. And while we had a discussion, there were certain rounds of interviews done, right? So everything was perfect.
Yeah.
So when that guy got onboarded, the problem got started from there on.
Yeah.
So you have somebody, I mean, it's not possible to find the talent on very initial stage, and
Yeah.
just 1 2 3 rounds of interviews wouldn't land you to get the right candidate,
Yeah.
right? So that happens very often than not. If I talk about the recruitment industry, that is how it works. You hire 10 people, and then perhaps 1 or 2 people you wouldn't you would hire, and you later on you come to realize that they are not a great fit when that
Yeah.
comes to the requirement.
Yeah.
So there are certain behavioral changes wherein you'll find within the people, right? So I was talking, as I was talking to that guy, when I had a word with that Indian guy. He got hired, and then later on he started. I mean, we had a lot of issues with him, right?
Okay.
He directly, indirectly tried to contact to the client very often than not. And I don't know what kind of issues that he was going through. He was he was also calling us back and forth.
Okay.
And he had a lot of issues with the system. He had a lot of issues with the process, the job responsibilities, and so many other things.
Okay.
So, which was not possible to gauge that candidate in our initial rounds of interviews. So
Okay.
later on, we realized that we got a wrong guy for this
Mhm.
position. And then the project was supposed to got over in 6 months, but we have to retain him back, after 3 4 months, I suppose. So we
Okay.
have to somehow, get that guy out of that project.
Yes.
So that happened. I remember that incident, and that was something really a bad experience.
Yes.
And answering to your second question, what was your takeaway from all those experiences that you had in the past? So we encounter so many such examples every day, wherein you talk to a wrong guy, and he'll do anything and everything in order to lure you, in order to pursue your that position which you offered, right? He'll
Yeah.
have a fake interview. Somebody else is going to take an interview against, that guy would not be a genuine one, right? Everything will get done, and
Okay.
then later on you realize that that was a fake guy. So these things keep on happening with us every now and then. So the best part of a recruiter or a talent acquisition company is that you have to be very focused when you hire a candidate. You have to ask as many questions as it is possible, and
Okay.
make sure that you hire a right candidate. Recruitment itself says that it's all about hiring a right candidate on a right
Yes.
position, right? So
Yes.
if you fail in any point in time, your job is done. I mean, you had a bad time again. So you have to be very cautious while you communicate your candidate. You have to be very, uh, uh, smart enough in order to identify all those loopholes which you find
Yes,
at the later stage. That should be identified in the initial stage itself. So
absolutely.
that keeps on happening, and that's something, the part and parcel. So we are very used to it now. So yeah.
That's so very interesting. Now, I can't believe that even in this day and age, when Zoom call is just a click away, you still have people doing proxy interviews with you. Finally, the person who interviews is one person, and finally, who shows up at the job with your application or offer letter is another person. How is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, what I mean, again, if you are not capable, suppose we hire a candidate and he's not capable enough to justify that position, right? You don't know
Yes.
the coding, you don't know the requirement which is there for that job.
Yeah.
What you do, I mean, in case you get hired for a position and there are
Yeah.
responsibilities to be handled, right? You'll be given the KRA, and when you're not known about those responsibilities, how you're going to make your life easier at work?
Absolutely. Yes.
It's again, it'll be miserable. I mean, you are not going to, you will be given the responsibilities, and you'll be like a fake candidate out there. I mean, look at the courage or guts of those candidates who show up, in the company, in an organization. And I truly am not able to understand how they're going to handle all those responsibilities. So that's not, that you cannot fake it, right? You don't know, you don't know. That's that
Absolutely.
that's it. So that
Okay.
keeps on happening.
It's like let's get in first. बाद में देखा जाएगा kind of an attitude that we Indians generally tend to have, isn't it? That's what makes us do crazy things. So barely Ravish, it's already just 1 minute left, and I have barely scratched the top, of my uh, bag of questions that I just wanted to ask you. But I hope I enjoyed talking to you.
Same here,
Uh,
same here, sir.
Absolutely wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And there are many questions. In fact, this is the first time I'm talking to a person who actually hires people at that stage, wherein you're getting people directly into the US onboarding and work for US companies. It used to happen with me also. Many people, we used to deal with US hospitals, and many people who used to befriend the other people or the counterparts on the US side and somehow get a visa, go probably find a job through that connection and land in US and just settle there. These kind of things happen. And I'm sure these kind of things are not new to you as well. I think you mentioned
Right,
one case,
right.
isn't it?
Yes, yes, absolutely. That happens.
Yes, yes, absolutely. If at all I get an opportunity, we'll speak about this absolutely in detail, and I would want to know what all is out there in today's world. I'm completely out of touch with the reality of hiring people and all that stuff.
But I'll tell you, I had a hard time in order to book a reservation, with you. I was looking to talk to you, but you had a very tight schedule.